Hello dear students, welcome back again to Chinmoy's YouTube channel. So till now we have discussed many topics on human physiology. So today we are going to deal with a new topic of human physiology, that is movement and locomotion. Now before this lesson we were discussing about plant physiology. So those who have not gone through my video, I am putting the link above in that eye, and I am putting in the description box also the links which you want to go through, because if you have not gone through those lessons, it will be difficult for you to go through all the lessons of plant physiology, as well as I have dealt with many lessons of human physiology also. So before starting this lesson, I would tell you that please do subscribe to my channel if you have not yet subscribed, and so that whenever I'm posting my updates, it will be easier for you to follow the lessons. So today we are going to discuss about movement and locomotion, and in this I have, as you all know, I have divided the lesson into small parts so that you get to know it in a very lucid and systematic manner, and the next class or the next video I'll be posting the next lesson. So let us start with today's lesson, movement and locomotion. So what are the learning objectives of today's lesson? Now, when we are telling that it is movement and locomotion, already you have studied this lesson in 7th standard. Now, again, we are moving with this lesson in 9th standard because movement and locomotion is very important topic, and we all need to learn or understand about this. So, we should know what is movement and locomotion. We should know about the components of the skeletal system, or what is the human skeleton we should know. So we should know about the human skeleton, and how is the human skeleton formed. We all know that it is formed of bone and cartilage, so we should know what is bone as well as what is cartilage. So we should discuss them in different points so that we should know it in a detailed manner, and we should know what are the main parts of the human skeletal system. So today we will be able to discuss about this axial skeletal system. This appendicular skeletal system we will do in the next class or in the next video. So today the main learning objectives will be, we should know what is human skeleton, we should know what is movement and locomotion, though you have discussed it earlier also. We should know about the components and the functions of skeletal system, and we will discuss about what is bone, what is cartilage, and what are the two parts of human skeletal system, and what is axial skeletal system. And obviously the appendicular skeletal system we will be discussing in the next class. Now in this topic we are first going to discuss about what is locomotion and movement. Now we humans, we are always using our limbs for changing our position, we all know that. So to move from one place to another, we need to change our limbs. So movements and locomotions cannot be separated. What we can say? We can say that all types of locomotion are movements, but all types of movements are not locomotion. Why? Because a tree, you can take an example of a tree, is moving its leaves, but it's not locomotion. When we are moving our hands, we are moving our limbs, but we are not changing our position. It is only movement of our body parts, but it is not locomotion. So locomotion, why do we do locomotion? It is a movement in which there is a change of place. So hence all type of locomotion are movements, but all type of movements are not locomotion. So what is locomotion? Locomotion is meant actually for searching food, for shelter, for breeding grounds, for favorable climatic conditions, and from escape from the predators. Now, for these main reasons, we need to locomote from one place to another. You know that there are several migratory birds which come and take, we can say, which move to our country in winter season when it is too cold in many western countries. They come, and rather they're locomoting, or their locomotion is happening from many ice laden countries to our country or India, so that they can stay safe, or they can stay in a favorable condition. So they are taking shelters in search of food, as favorable climatic condition is there. Now many are moving from one place to another when they are escaping from their predators. So they are running away from their predators, so that is also a kind of locomotion. So how do we do this locomotion? from one place to another. There are several body parts which are actually necessary or which are actually taking part in this process of locomotion. So what are those parts? We are going to discuss about that in details. In previous classes also you have learned, you have studied about the joints, you have studied about several muscles, but in 9th standard, as you all know that we are a little bit in higher classes, we will be studying this in a bit more details. So let us start. So first we are going to discuss about the functions of the human skeletal system, as human skeletal system is the main part of this locomotion as well as movement. So what is the main function? So first we are going to discuss about this support. So how it is providing support? Now the rigid skeleton, it is supporting the total weight of the body. It is supporting many tissues and it is helping us to maintain a structure or a shape of the body. Now here you can see this is the human skeletal system. If this was not there, our body will be just a round ball without any support, without any shape, and it is only supporting the soft tissues, and actually it provides a site of attachment for all the muscles. So all muscles are joined to the skeleton only. You can see, we can see the skeleton, our arms, our limbs, all are there. Our body part, if you construct our facial structure, all are on this skeletal system only. So if we are putting muscles, soft tissues on this bone only, we are getting a human body. So the shape of a human body will come if you are putting this on the skeleton structure. So first is support. Now second comes protection. How it is protecting our body? The skeleton always protects the internal organs. How it is protecting the internal organ from injury? The brain is there, it is protecting the internal organs like eyes, and the inner ears are protecting. It is always being protected by the skull. The spinal cord, you can see the spinal cord, it is protecting, it is being protected by the vertebral column. So this bony structure is the vertebral column, and inside that is the soft and delicate spinal cord. And here inside the rib cage, we can say in the thoracic region, there is heart and lungs. So in the thoracic region, it is protecting the heart and lungs. In the brain, the skull is protecting the internal brain organs as well as the eyes, the ears, everything is being protected. And all the internal organs of the in the vertebral column like the spinal cord is also protected by this skeletal system. So first of all, the support is there. Second is protection. Now how it is helping in movement and locomotion? So we should see this one now. Now many bones, they are acting as levers. Now when the muscles, we can say that they pull on the levers, they produce movement. Okay, so locomotion, what is locomotion? It is the all total action or the coordinated action of the muscles on the limbs, and which they are attached by the tendons, they are attached by the cartilage. So they all are working together in coordination. The tendons, the cartilage, the bones, the muscles, they are working together to help in the process of locomotions. Now how it is working? When the muscles are contracting, the bones, they act as levers. Okay, so muscle is contracting, the bone is acting as lever, and the movable joints, they are acting as fulcrums. So you have all studied about the first class, second class and third class lever. So there we can see that when you have studied about the three classes of lever, we have studied already about the fulcrum. So we all know that the movable joints, they are acting as fulcrums and they are bringing about the movement. So muscle is contracting, the bones are acting as levers, and the joints are acting as fulcrums. So this is how the movement is taking place. So is it clear to all? Now next comes the blood cell formation. So how the blood cell formation is happening? Now this process is also called hematopoiesis. So what is it also called? It is also called hematopoiesis. Okay, this is another term of this blood cell formation. So the red bone marrow is in several long bones, the humerus and the femur, they produce the blood corpuscles. So the blood corpuscles or the red blood cells, while some white blood cells or blood platelets are also formed in the bone marrow of the several red bone marrow of several bones like humerus, femur and all. So this helps in the process of the blood cell formation. So inside the bone only the blood cells also they are formed. So that is mainly few bones like humerus and femur. Now next comes the storage of minerals. Now bones, what do they do? What minerals do they store? We know when we talk about bone, we should say we tell that the more amount of calcium should be there to make our bones strong. So calcium and phosphorus are the main two minerals which are present in the bones. So these minerals can be distributed to other parts of the body as well and when required. So they are storing calcium and phosphorus. So when the other parts of the body are in need of calcium and phosphorus, from where they get the supply? So the supply is from the bones. So the bones or the skeletal system is very important part of the body, and we should know all the functions properly so that when we are studying ahead this lesson, this locomotion, not only locomotion and movement, many other physiological processes are also dependent on this human skeletal system. So is it clear to all, dear? Because first of all, it is helping us to support, it is giving us protection. Secondly, third, it is helping in movement and locomotion. Fourth is it is helping in blood cell formation. And fifth, it is helping in the storage of minerals, mainly calcium and phosphorus. Now next we will see what is there in the next slide. Now here first we should know that what does our human skeleton consist of. Now the human skeleton, it often adult human, it consists of 206 bones. It consists of 206 bones in the form of long bones. What are the long bones? The femur and the humerus. There are other long bones as well. The short bones are basically the wrist bones and the ankle bones, and there are few very small bones in the ear as well. Now there are several flat bones which are mainly the skull bones, the rib bones as well as the shoulder blade bones. There are several irregular bones also which are that of the vertebrae and the lower jaw. So this is how I have divided the human skeletal system into a few parts where there are long, short, flat and irregular shaped bones. Now, what is a bone? First, we should know what is a bone. So, bone is a rigid, it is a non-flexible and a hard connective tissue. So, bone is a form of tissue which is a hard connective tissue which forms the framework and which supports the body. So this framework is mainly supporting the body. It is a rigid non-flexible thing. It is a connective tissue and it is a framework. And it is supporting the muscles as well as the main organs of the body. As discussed earlier also, it is supporting the muscles. It is acting as a liver and it is organic. It is helping in the main organs of the body also. The matrix of the bone is very hard. So it is to be remembered. The matrix is very hard. So when you are going through my classes, my videos, it is very obvious that you are getting the notes also and you can learn these notes also. I have made the notes very clear and very systematic to the point so that if you learn these notes only, it will be easy for you to go ahead and answer your questions. So learn this as notes also. The bone cells, what are they called? The bone cells are called osteocytes. So they are called osteocytes. The bone cells are called osteocytes and they are embedded in the hard matrix which is composed of calcium and phosphorus. In the hard matrix which are formed of calcium and phosphorus. Now the osteocytes are present in concentric rings. You can see here. You can see the diagram. The osteocytes, these are the osteocytes. These are present in concentric rings. The concentric rings, you all know that one after the another, if there are several rings, those are called concentric rings. Now these are osteocytes and around a central canal. This central canal, it is called the Haversian canal. So all the osteocytes, they are centered around this canal called the Haversian canal. You can see here several canaliculi also. These detailing you will be studying in higher classes. For now, you should know that they are formed of osteocytes. The bone cells are formed of osteocytes and they are in concentric rings around the Haversian canal. It is enough for you. Now let us move on to the next part, which is the cartilage. So what is cartilage? Cartilage is also as important as bone. It is a white, It is a semi-opaque tissue which consists mainly of matrix. So in the previous one in bone we got a very hard matrix. Now here also matrix along with proteins and sugars is called the cartilage. Now cartilage always smoothens the bone surfaces at joints. Here this one is the cartilage. These two are the bone structure, and here in between that is the cartilage which is smoothening the bone surfaces at joints. Okay, the human cartilage is present in many places. So few examples I am giving. It is present in the larynx, so that near our throat. It is present in the trachea, that is near the lungs. It is present in the nose and at the end of the bones and in between the ribs and the sternum. So when one bone is joining another, both the bones are not joining together. In between there is a cartilage, or else the hard bony two bony structure, if they join together, they will keep on rubbing and they will create a pain. So there should be a cartilage layer which smoothens the bone surface. So when many people are having their knee pain and all, that old age people, they have knee pain, shoulder pain and all. Why? Because that cartilage portion that gets wear and tear. So there is a tear in the cartilage portion, and there is a degeneration of the cartilage. So it's being destroyed gradually by the wear and tear of daily activities. So for that only, as the cartilage is not there, not present there, two bony surfaces come together and the bone starts degenerating. So then only that pain starts. So human cartilage is very important to smoothen the bone surfaces at the joints. So I have already told you it is present in the larynx, trachea, nose, as well as several other ends of the bones in between the ribs and the sternum also. So let us move on to the next one. Now here we are going to discuss about the introduction of axial skeleton. Now, we have already told you that the skeletal system is formed of two types of skeletal system. It is divided into two parts, that is axial skeletal system and appendicular skeletal system. So today we are going to discuss in brief about the axial skeletal system. So in the next class we will be continuing with the axial skeletal system detailing as well as the appendicular skeletal system. So let us just give an introduction of axial skeletal system. So what is it and how is it described as the axial skeletal system? Now the axial skeletal consists of the bones that form the upright portion or the axis of the body. So what is the axis of the body? Now we can say that there are the center of the longitudinal axis of the body is a straight line. We can say it is the straight line which is running through the body's center of gravity. So this line, we have told that this is the imaginary line and it is called the axis. This is the imaginary line which is extending through the head and down to the space in between the legs. So there are 80 bones in this axial skeletal system, and the axial skeletal system of the body is mainly the skull. So it is comprising of the ribs, the hyoid bone, the ear bones and the vertebral column. So the part of the skeletal system that lies around the axis as the axial skeletal system, and they are mainly the ribs, the sternum, the skull, the hyoid bone, the vertebral column, and these bones are mainly under the axial skeletal system. And what about the appendicular skeletal system? The appendicular skeletal system is what? It is mainly dealing with the appendages. So what are the appendages? The appendages, we can say the hands and the limbs, hands and the legs. So the appendicular skeletal consists of bones of the free appendages. That is, appendicular system, it is mainly consisting of the hands and the limbs. Appendicular system is, it is mainly consisting of the free appendages, bones of free appendages. So bones of free appendages. So what are the bones of free appendages? They are mainly the we can say that the upper and the lower limbs. So they are mainly the upper and the lower limbs. Upper and the lower limbs. So this all we will be discussing in the next class. So please stay tuned. Whatever I am teaching, please stay updated. So it will be a continuous process of lessons. After this axial skeletal system, we will be discussing about the appendicular skeletal system. We will be classifying the joints. We will be discussing about the different structural classification of each and every joint. So stay tuned and please Do subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to write the comments and your queries and your questions in the comment box. So as of now, as of today's part 1 of movement and locomotion, I think everything should be clear what I taught till now. Go through your textbook, go through my videos, my classes, and if you want to have any questions, any queries in your mind, please do write in my comment box. So today, as of now, I have completed today's part, and moving forward, we are going to discuss about the appendicular and axial skeletal system in detail. Thank you.